You're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Sarah's View of Life right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Try. Well, it's no excuse, but it is a fact. I have a health condition, and every single day I live in pain. I never go below the 5, mostly just live on the 6th level of pain. But that's no excuse. And yes, I have fibromyalgia, which can cripple me sometimes, but that is no excuse. If you don't know what fibromyalgia is, fibromyalgia or myofascial pain gives you IBS, depression, high anxiety. I also have asthma. And just to name a few, I have these and more, and it's been around now for over 27 years. But I don't let them stop me, even if they slow me down. Fibromyalgia is recognized as a true syndrome, now upgraded to a disease by the American College of Rheumatology. In 1990, FM is thought to exist in 2 to 3% of the population, but that has risen in the last few years. It occurs both in men and women, but women are more affected 6 to 9 times more than men. FM occurs mostly in women between the ages of 30 and 60. I got it in my late 40s. FM can affect teenagers, children, and the elderly. There is no known cause. Currently, researchers is how the nervous system deals with pain and shows that various abnormalities present in people with FM. What are the indications of it? Widespread pain. You feel like you are the tin man who constantly needs oil, like you just can't move. Every single thing is heavy. Morning stiffness, which can last all day. Fatigue. Doesn't matter how much sleep you get, you are always tired. I relate it to a phone that is getting old and the battery doesn't recharge as it used to, and you have to recharge it more often. That is us. Unrefreshing sleep. As I said, you wake up still feeling tired. Anxiety, you can't help it. Everything about you kind of just goes tense. Cognitive memory impairment, fog, as they call it, and along with ADD, that doesn't help either. Depression, yep, that raises its head. Abnormal complaints like irritable bowel syndrome. You get chest pain, blurry vision, feeling cold, weight gain, dry eyes. I have that. Sometimes nausea, but I don't get that so much. Body aches all the time, sensitive to sound and light. 18 tender spots. I'm going to increase those points. Insomnia, dizziness, morning stiffness, and muscular pain and chronic headaches. Well, that's just a few. So that's still no excuse. Yes, I have on top of that ADD and dyslexia, but even that is no excuse. It's just an explanation of what my barriers are in getting done. I have, and you never know when you're going to cough, because that's part of the asthma. You never know what your energy is going to be that day. Is it going to be full on? Can you really get in there? Can you embrace it and seize the day? And sometimes we do get days like that. And then you go and seize the day and you do a few activities and you are flattened. The next day you are flattened. It's one of the hardest things to explain to anyone of what it is you have, because when they look at you, they don't see things dropping off you or, obvious things of illness. You may look perfectly all right, but nobody knows what's going on inside. And it can be extremely difficult. People, can you come and do this? Can you come and do that? Will you do this? Will you do that? And you have to pace yourself, because if you don't, you burn out and you're flattened and then you can't do anything. But to try and explain that to people, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. They kind of just look at you and think that maybe you're lazy. No, I'm not lazy. I am just challenged. Yes, it's not an excuse, but it is a reason. Right? It is the reason. You have to learn when you have a disease like this, how to pace yourself, whether it's this or any other disease. You do what you know you can do. And if you do more than that, you will pay the price. They're not paying for it. You are. I'm I live alone, so if I have this, there's nobody there to take care of me. I have to take care of myself. I'm not going to burden my children because they've already got enough on their plate. So it is pacing yourself and doing as much as you can. I look after my grandchildren a couple of days a week, take them overnight now and again, do things with them. And I will admit, by the end of the day, I am tired. And it's not so much kind of the activities, though sometimes that's it. It's that they are resonating on a high frequency, a high vibration of energy all the time. And people don't realize that when you're around people that are on the on energy, child or adult, that it is draining. You don't want it to be draining. You want to be around that kind of energy. You want it to be intoxicating, but it can be draining. It's very hard to understand. It's very hard to explain. So it's still not an excuse, but it is a reason. And this is what this show is about today. It's not about, oh, woe is me. I've had asthma for 68 years. It has already been my barrier of things that I could and could not do. I wanted to be a professional dancer. Wouldn't take me because of asthma. In the middle of a performance, I could have an asthma attack. And that was a valid reason because, yes, I've had asthma attacks in the middle of a podcast. It does happen. And I understand why they didn't want to take a risk on me, but at the same time, it's like I wanted to dance. I wanted to sing. And somebody was willing to train me and would also have helped develop my lungs into being better. But my mum said no. And I so to God wish she had said yes, because I probably would have stronger lungs today. And I do love to sing, even if I may terrify everybody around me. Um, Again, it's not an excuse. It's just the reality. It's just the reality. So I had eczema growing up, and weeping eczema is not fun whatsoever. Imagine red hot coins being dropped in your body and everything kind of erupting, and your body is so hot people can feel the heat across the room, and going into a shower is like acid. So I had that 2 or 3 times, and I had eczema in every crack. So all the fingers would crack up between the arms, behind the knees. But I only get a little bit on my hands now. So fortunately, that seems to have left me. Thank you. Something has left me. So, and my fascial pain, underneath your skin, before you get to your muscle, there's this white, sinewy stuff. And those are the kind of fiber optics that go from your brain to your body that make everything work. If they've been damaged, then they're not able to get the message to the rest of your body. And they can feel like electronic pulses going through your body. And you can feel like you're buzzing, especially in the legs. I get it considerably in the legs. And it feels like an electric current is going through your legs. And it also makes your legs feel incredibly heavy. I cannot get down on the ground. If I do, I need help up. I can't get back up. My legs won't let me. Very often I can't sleep at night because my legs are buzzing. CBD oil can be good for that. You may have to take muscle relaxants, and sometimes you just got to see it through. Humidity and moisture are the worst things for it. And of course, we're in winter, lots of rain. In the summer, we get humidity. So I'm good on those days where we don't have the moisture in the air. Still not an excuse, just a reason of why I'm challenged. I've been doing this podcasting now for over 12 and a half years. I've already produced one book, well, two books. The first book was an ebook only, and it's under my events. You'll see it there on the site. Excuse me, I have a little frog in the throat today. The other book was Our Forgotten Children, an anthology around the system that is broken and raising our children and what we need to do differently, how we need to be the voice. I produced my own book where I wrote about my life. Sarah's Self-Discovery to Soul Living. And I was in two other books, Dare to Live Fearlessly and also the Mission Accepted 262 book. And of course, being part of the promotion and everything around that. But still, if it comes to me actually joining anything physically, it takes a lot out of me. And, a lot of people kind of, like, why don't you join this and do that? Limitations. It's called limitations, folks. You cannot do what you cannot do because you know you'll pay the higher price. Now, I know sometimes it's worth paying the price. My son's wedding, 32, 34 degrees under a cloud of fumes of because of the fires and the heat. Oh my God, that was so hot. It was unbearable. I can't take heat. Right. So the summers can be really hard for me. Extreme cold. I'm actually better at the zeros than I am at your 26, 27s and your 30s. So again, you have to know your body and what you can and cannot do. Again, it's not an excuse, but it is a reason of why I cannot do. Now, on top of that, I have ADD and dyslexia. Fun. Um, and ADD, along with the brain fog that you get from fibro, can sometimes be really challenging. I am so enthusiastic on the things that I want to do. I'm also a solo person on the things that I want to do, but my brain fog or my ADD can get in the way of getting it done. And that is, again, not an excuse, but it is a reason for why I don't get things done in the time that I want to get things done. I eventually get them done, but it's always that timing. With ADD and maybe my personality type, it's always that crunch, that last minute, and then pile everything in. And I think that is kind of the focus. When the focus is there and the energy is there, then you just do because you can in that time period. The energy and everything and the focus is in tuned. If it's not in tuned, if you're in a lot of pain or if you're in fog, as much as you want to do something, you can't get it done. So you say, how do I do podcasts? I do generally 4 a week. I used to do 8, 9 a week, but I've cut back. Now time with the grandchildren, time for myself, and time to do the podcasts a little easier on me. Because something happens when I press record and when I'm meeting somebody and I'm in exploration of what they're doing, who they are, what a gift they are to the world. I'm so organic and in the presence that that doesn't take energy out of me. It actually energizes me to a great extent. After that is all the editing and you know, the actual production of the video and where it goes and, creating the blog and et cetera, et cetera. That I can do quite automatically, but it's just time consuming. I generally listen to music when I'm doing that because that helps me get through things. And music, by the way, the frequency of certain music resets your equilibrium and rebalances you. So music is a great healer for me when I'm in pain, when I'm in fog, or when I'm in depression or low anxiety. So it's music is wonderful cure or support, I would say, for that. So again, none of this is excuses. There are many people that I've interviewed that are living with health challenges, but they found a passion, they found a calling, they found a reason to get up every day and do what it is they do. This is me and what I do. I podcast. I bring you people, exceptional people from around the world that are doing extraordinary things because they faced their challenges, because they faced those obstacles, because they became something so much more than the label that they were given. Cancer, fibro, a divorcee, you name it, whatever they were given. They faced the challenge. They went through the process of their own healing. And now on the other side of it today, they've become that illumination for someone else. This gets me up in the day to do. This is what my driving force is to bring you such people like that. And it gives me a reason. The worst thing you can do, whatever condition you have, is become the condition. I live with my condition 24/7 and have for 27, nearly 28 years. The asthma, 68 years. I know what I can and what I can't do. I'm not my condition. It's not me. I'm Sarah. I'm Sarah who's passionate and an advocate and an advocate for common sense love, for sisterhood, for the liberation of the heart and soul and spirit. That is Sarah. This is just my condition from which I work from. So whenever you do get a condition, I know at first it could be overwhelming. What does this mean? You're going to have to navigate a while your cans and your can'ts, your mental state. Very important, your mental state, because you don't want to get into why me and feel sorry for yourself. Though your life is going to change of your cans and can'ts, So it's give yourself some grace of grieving from the person you were before to the person you are now, because the old person has gone, maybe for a while or maybe forever. With fibro, it's a life sentence. If you have cancer, there's so many people I've interviewed with cancer that have come through the other side and are doing wonderfully today. They didn't become whatever their obstacle was or their cancer. They became a cancer survivor and then become that illumination and that invitation for other people. And that again is what it's about. I do believe we're given things for a reason. I know that my spirit essence and my enthusiasm and my passion can be too intense because I am very passionate about what I believe in and about the heart and soul spirit story and about justice and about equality and about empathy and compassion and love. And that very much comes out of me. And I think before I had the fibro, well, before I had the fibro, I was kind of quietly kind of dying in my marriage. So that was a different thing altogether. Um, I kind of got the fibro through being in a tumultuous marriage that where I lost myself for at least 8 years and I was just robotic and kind of quite honestly afraid. So this got triggered by that, and it's probably hereditary. My mother probably had it as well, but never diagnosed. I mean, when they diagnosed me in 97, it was still a very new disease that people didn't quite know how to understand because there's so many markers. At that point, there were 31 markers to fibromyalgia, and I have 29 of them. Since then, they've discovered even more markers. And how do you cure that? Because there's so many. So you have to look at it. Inflammation, yes. You have to look at equilibrium, yes. You have to look at what your intake is. Acidically level, you've got to keep, that all level straight. And again, no, you can and can'ts. So I understand, when you initially get something, it's a shock and you've got to go through it and you've got to navigate um, your own healing. But it's as you come out of it and you realize that you were given it for a reason. I was given it to dampen down my enthusiasm. Um, but as I said, also a side thing to do with my marriage. But it is also to understand that I perhaps use a little more cosmic energy than most people do. And that also, can use up a great deal of energy and maybe, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But the whole point is that we have this. We are not this. So whatever it is that you have, don't be the label. It is your challenge, and you do need to let people around you understand this is your challenge and these are your cans and cannots. I get almost daily from my kids, Mum, you just need to do this. You've got to do that. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. And it does get incredibly irritating. I know that it's coming from the heart and they want to see me be more physical, but they don't understand being physical is painful. Now, yes, a certain amount of physical I need to be. I fully understand that. But I have to stay in the parameters what I can and cannot do. And pushing myself outside of that only makes things worse. In this case, the more you use the body, and the more you can't go extreme, you can't go cardio, because that puts so much stress on the myofascial and the muscle, the inflammation just flares right up. So it's knowing your limit, what you can do, how far you can push yourself. When I moved this year, I moved the packing up and everything, the move, I had 2, 3 days grace, and then I went over to the mainland to pick up some stuff I had in storage. And then it was putting everything together. A week of at least of activity, stress and strain. And then there came the price. And sometimes there's things you're going to have to do, and that you're going to have recovery time. And so you've got to make sure you calculate that in whatever you do. If I go out to any events, I know that I'm going to come home tired, or, the next day I need to have a low-key day because you need to regroup. So whenever you're planning something, plan it in a way that you know that I've got this recovery time. And in this recovery time, you do what you need to do to recover. Do you need to switch off from everybody? Do it. You're making the dinner, you're doing this, you're doing that. If you're on your own, prepare your meal beforehand so that you can throw it in the microwave or in a pot, right? Or order in, whatever the case is. Be kind to yourself. I know at the end of every day, I get on my couch with my heating pad behind my back, right? If I'm sitting here in this chair, it's obviously not good for the body. If I could go for a walk a little bit, it loosens things up. But by the end of the day, my back is just ready to snap and a heating pad on it. Legs up, relax, tune out. And that's what I need to do. You have to get to know your own, not just body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit, because they must work in tandem together. Know your limits, know what the price is going to be to do this or that. Know when you can exert yourself and when you need that a downtime. Know what nutritionals you need to take in order to help your body. And that again, I have done so many shows on so many healing modalities, whether it's nutrition, whether it's through wonderful frequency products, whether it's through Reiki, whatever the platform is. With 3,700 shows here, I have shows on that. And there's been many things that I have learned through doing these shows that I now apply to myself. And I take a hell of a lot of nutrients every day to help support my body and what it needs. So again, none of my health issues is, or one reason why I'm talking about it is for you to feel sorry for me, because that's the last thing we want. We just want you to understand that if we cannot live up to your expectation, or we cannot live up to even our own delivery sometimes, please understand is that our limitations, however much our enthusiasm wants to do it, our limitations can hold us back. My second book, Our Forgotten Seniors, should have been out already. But with the move, with several illnesses, RSV, which I got from the grandkids last December, um, then I got something else after I moved here. Then I got COVID. Then I got another virus that lasted 6 weeks. Then I got bronchitis, nearly pneumonia. And it's just been one hell of a year. And I haven't been able to catch up with myself. So now, this coming year, I'm already gathering authors for Our Forgotten Senior, and Our Forgotten Senior book will come out. And I'm hoping to start Our Forgotten Children's book too, towards the end of next year to come out. I wanted to do 2 books a year. That's the enthusiasm. I have a wonderful publisher, but I've still got to raise money in order for the publishing to be done. There's a lot of work that goes behind in producing a book, even in producing a podcast. And I am a solo artist on a budget. Even what I charge for a show only really covers the expense of doing the show, doesn't cover me. So it is about having to give myself a little break. It is about stop being so hard on yourself, stop being so demanding of yourself, and understanding that it's okay. It is okay to not meet these deadlines. The superficial deadlines that I placed upon myself, they were enthusiastic deadlines, and I couldn't make them. But the intent and the reason behind doing them is still very, very relevant, and it will be done. But instead of saying it's got to be done by then, I have got to go, okay, body, are we ready? Are we in sync? Mind, heart, body, spirit, and soul? Can we start the process? Can we get going? Because once I'm in a rhythm, I'm okay. But with ADD, we lose focus sometimes. With the brain fog of the fibro, the fog comes up and it's like, what am I meant to be doing? What am I meant to be doing? And you don't have the focus, right? The dyslexia, well, I just use chat GBT and other things to rectify that. But it's what tools are out there that can help you for your condition, but it's understanding you have a condition. You have something that gets in your way. Do not feel ashamed. Do not be apologetic, right? We didn't ask for this. It was given, right? We are where we are. Mine is incurable. It can be managed, and it can be managed to a point where you almost feel human again, all right? There are many illnesses that people can cure. And yes, 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 yes. But there are some that you just have to learn to live with and learning to manage it and giving yourself a break. Stop being so apologetic for what you have. I was apologizing for so long. I'm sorry, I can't do this because of that. And it's like, no, no, these are my boundaries emotionally, physically, spiritually, essency. I cannot go beyond those boundaries because they're detrimental to me. Part of it is my physical condition, part of it is my spiritual condition. I don't like negative energy. I'm one to fight for what is wrong. With what's going on in America right now, I am fighting tooth and nail for the sisterhood. It is about us with our common sense love, putting things in place together as a network, as a matrix, where we are there to ready to pick the people up and help heal. And that it's going to be catastrophic, the fallout that's going to happen. But we can't change the tidal wave. All we can do is prepare that the tidal wave isn't too hard and prepare for the recovery, right? So the disease is there, right? You've got to give it chemo or you've got to give it nutrients, you've got to give it whatever, and you've got to prepare for the healing and come out the other side. So none of this is an excuse, but it is a reason. And if ever I have promised something and I couldn't deliver, yes, I am sorry that I couldn't deliver it. There was no intent to not deliver. It just either slipped my mind through my brain fog or I took on too much and something fell, something dropped out of it. But I do try my best. So all we can ask from anyone is to try their best. So we are coming up to the end of the year, 2024. I will be taking a little time off. Um, I'm going to be actually looking after my son's cat and dog while they're away on their honeymoon, and that is over on the mainland. So my New Year's dates are my two grandsons, so mum and dad can go out and actually be adults for a while and have fun, and I'll be looking after the babies and get to see some people I don't get to see too often. And I'll start work again on the 7th, start interviewing again. And but I'm going to take some time out and kind of just be. I'm going to this last Saturday went out with a bunch of lady friends that I've met in my area here. They live in a retirement community and get to know each other and just celebrate each other. You know, it's you have to instigate things. You know, my show last week is, participate cheerfully. Don't sit and feel I'm alone and nobody knows it. Get out and join something, get out and create something. And I've been here 7 months in this community, already made a really good friend and already, got a ladies' night out where we got dressed up, went out for a Christmas meal and get to know each other better because somebody has got to suggest it, right? And it doesn't happen if you don't suggest it. Hey, how about we go and do this? And uh, and if you're not one of those people to do that, then go and join something, go and volunteer somewhere. You know, it is about that participation within the boundaries of your own constraints, right? So this isn't the last show. I will have one more show this year before we close off. I also had another show out last week. I put two shows out last week, and the one was on gift books. And the gift books is not all of them, but some of the authors that I've interviewed in 2024, all their books, along with the shows for you to listen to, but book suggestions for giving gifts this Christmas. And of course, you can give a book any time of the year. But for Christmas, when you're looking at what shall I give, there are so many books there on so many different topics and genres, some fantasy, some fact fiction, some how-to books, some, whatever. It's all there. Pick a book and give it to a friend you know that's going to help, that's going to need it. And they can also listen to the show of the person who wrote it and give a book for Christmas. So that show is out there right now. Self-discoverywisdom.com. If you go to Sarah's View of Life podcast on the podcast tab, you'll see it come up as gift books. And yeah, gift books. And, for this Christmas period, if you are facing any physical challenge or mental challenge, um, Be easy on yourself. There may be some more expectation from you than normally you would give. So make sure you plan before and after the recovery time. And but that will give you energy to get through those wonderful celebrations, and then you recover afterwards. So please be kind to yourself. Remember, it's not an excuse, but it is a reason. And if people don't understand, that's where you put your hand up and go, I know you don't understand, but this is the way it is. Thank you. And be very firm in it. Um, and then hopefully they will stop doing what they're doing. So, folks, as I said, we're getting to Christmas. There'll be one more show coming out before then. But if you have any form of condition, it is not an excuse for you not to be able to do something, but it is a reason. And if you can help people understand what that reason is, um, but most importantly, is you understanding your cans, your can'ts, your do's, your don'ts, and understanding what you need to do for you in order to maintain a good equilibrium. So I wish you all well. Until next week, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.